Welcome to Blue Tinted Glasses, the home of Leicester City talk on YouTube. Fan debates, live watch-alongs, post-match reactions, and all the Foxes banter you could ask for. Subscribe now and see the game through Blue Tinted Glasses.
Just into race clear. He's got Jamie Vardy with him. Jamie Vardy sets off. Jamie Vardy! Back here for Darwin. Oh, he scored! An absolute belter! That is trademark Abdul Fatahwood.
This one into the box. Nugent over the top. Oh, what a goal! David Nugent's just scored a beauty. He's made Forest look like fools.
Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Good afternoon, good morning. I don't know what time it is. good morning and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. An emergency, Neil, it's been so long since we had an emergency stream to do. I think it was when Marty was announced, mate. How are you?
Better than you, Locks, because I'm not sacrificing my holiday to jump an emergency stream. Guys, if you haven't given Locks some love already, look at this man. There is nothing he won't do for Leicester, which is probably more than could be said for people who actually work for Leicester. So I'm just abusing that working from home privilege. I hope things are well with you though, mate.
Yeah, all good in the hood. So yeah, I mean, let's get straight into it. Everybody in the chat, by the way, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to get your comments in. Let us know exactly what you think to the news we're about to speak about. If you don't know already, it's in the title, and we're going to bring it up on screen now. And that is, let me bring it up. Here we go. So Susan Whelan, Leicester City Football Club announces that Susan Whelan has stepped down as chief exec after 15 years of dedicated service. Susan joined the club's board of directors following King Power's acquisition in 2010 and was appointed chief executive a year later. Over the course of her 10 years, she played a key role in supporting the club's operations and long-term vision, contributing some of the most memorable moments in the club's history. In that period, the club rose from the EFL Championship to become Premier League champions and FA Cup and Community Shield winners. We'll go a bit. There we go. Her leadership also supported the club's commercial growth and infrastructure development, including the delivery of the club's state-of-the-art training ground in Seagrave, the master planning of the King Power Stadium expansion project, where's that, by the way, and the integration of Leicester City women into the club's core operations. She contributed to shaping the club's long-term strategy. What's that? Oh, it says there for the women's game. Apologies. Susan also helped strengthen Leicester's role in the community. As a trustee of both the Vishai Foundation and Leicester in the community, she supported initiatives that improved lives across the region through sport, education and social inclusion. Leicester City Football Club expresses its sincere gratitude to Susan for her leadership, professionalism and unwavering commitment over the past 15 years. In the interim, Leicester chairman Iwat Shananaprava will assume the role of acting chief executive officer, ensuring continuity in leadership. Senior representatives from the club will meet with its fan advisory board, which includes representation from the Foxes Trust, in due course to ensure continuity in our commitments to fan engagement. So the news is Whelan is out and Top has replaced her with Top for now. So that's an interesting one. Just an acting role there. Anil, let me come to you, mate. What is your instant reaction to this news?
I mean, it feels like it's come out of nowhere, right? I think I was expecting something like this a long time ago, if I'm being honest with you. Maybe, after the second relegation was confirmed. But I mean, there's so much that's going through my head. I mean, we know that there's a rift in the background, right? A power struggle. Whelan doesn't talk to Rudkin, so it looks like Rudkin's won. Top's pet, fair enough. So that's a bit of a shock. But yeah, I will say the one thing that it being an acting position does imply to me that there might be someone else who comes in eventually, and maybe they're just waiting for it to sort of shift. But I mean, yeah, Susan Whelan did a lot for the club, but I mean, the club has needed some big changes for a long time. I'd actually go as far as saying I don't think this is enough, but at least it's sort of going somewhere towards the direction we need to go. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's something that I think, you know, I mean, the first thing I saw somebody put on Twitter was draining the swamp. Um, I think a lot of us we would rather, you know, a lot of the hierarchy departed the club.
Yeah.
I don't think Whelan is anywhere near the biggest problem at the club,
No.
especially when large portions of the problem are the footballing side of things, not the commercial side of things. And we know who's in charge of the footballing side of things, Anil. I mean, and as you say, there's been rumours for over a year that Whelan and Rodkin don't even they turn in opposite directions in the corridors at Seagrave. They don't talk to each other whatsoever. I mean, how can you have that going on for a year? By the way, how can you have two senior people at the football club not talking to each other for over a year? That's ridiculous. You obviously had the whole thing with BC Game and then KBet. However, that's not really like, if Whelan's job is to get the most money for something like that, then obviously those types of sponsors are going to be the go-to. I don't think that was the problem as such. I think it was just a lack of communication. I mean, they've still not even mentioned the whole KBet situation. We saw it printed on the shirt, and it's the reason we don't have a sponsor right now is because that fell through. So there are, of course, problems commercially as well. I'm not saying that's not the case, but look, mate, I mean, we've said for so long that Top's got a free a tap in at the back post if he sacked him. Like, you know what I mean? If that happened, so much more credit would go to him. But yeah, let's see what some people in the comments are saying. And let's see what. So King Leicester goes the wrong board member left. I think a lot of people will agree with that. Contopper's new CEO. Wow, you're acting, as you said, Anil. As the statement says, for now it just says acting. Should have been Rodkin. She left as she knows how bad it's going to get. Potentially, we don't know if this is she was forced out, Anil, or it was the other way around.
Yeah, because can I comment on that? Because the thing is, right, that you've just mentioned it there, which, to be honest, right, yeah, you can definitely say that on the pitch has been awful. We know it has, right? But look, we still don't have a shirt sponsor, right? And the fact is that without having a sponsor on the shirt, that's literally missed revenue. And if you're the CEO, the revenues of the company and the top and bottom line are basically within your due restriction. So to be honest with you, Lux, I do wonder if it's something to do with that. As you say, if you make a deal and it falls through, or if you've made dodgy deals or deals that haven't kind of paid out, then to be honest with you, that is your accountability, right? If you're not performing now, but at the same time, though, I agree with what everyone's saying, which is, hang on a minute. I mean, what about the board member that's, contributing the horrific appointments of two awful managers in a row, not being able to spend on the club, a pretty indifferent stroke, well, I wouldn't say poor, but indifferent starts of the season. But I don't know, a lot of people are saying, think she realized nothing is changing. But I personally I don't think she had a choice in the matter. I think people saying, she left on her own accord. I don't think anyone's leaving a cushy job at Leicester, to be honest with you. I think you're being forced, and I think you're being forced because, commercial revenues are down. I'd also say, Locks, that those big part, like, where is the stadium improvements and that whole project and centre? And I have to say, just anecdotally, and maybe you can comment on this, or maybe some of the other people in chat, like maybe Steve can comment on this, but I've heard that a lot of people were not big fans of Susan Whelan behind the scenes. And she was quite divisive. So I don't know, but it's huge though. And the problem is, Locks, I feel sad though, regardless, because at the end of the day, for any organization to succeed, everyone's got to be in it together, right? That's the BTG strength, right? If you have someone that's not pulling in the right direction, only one thing can happen, and it's negativity. So I don't know. In some ways, it is better to get rid of people that aren't pulling rank, but we all know we'd probably prefer other ones to go on, get your NS in, mate. Go on.
I was just getting the beer out the fridge. No, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. I think we actually have, though, a bit more to talk about here, Anil.
Do it.
Because I believe Rob Dorset has said something. So let's see what Rob Dorset said. So he says, Susan Whelan steps down. Susan Whelan steps down as Leicester chief exec after overseeing a period of unprecedented success for the club in her 15 years in the role. Soured relationships with sporting director John Rudkin meant change was inevitable.
Yeah.
So
the one thing is, we're led to believe, though, that Susan Whelan is the reason why Enzo Maresca was appointed. So the thing is I did just say that she might be divisive. I did say that she might not necessarily be best in terms of sponsorship deals, but I will also say that word on the street behind the scenes is that Susan Whelan is good at her job. That's for others to comment. We'll have to see. I mean, I find it interesting though, because normally in a position like that, you would probably have to give like at least 6 months notice.
Yeah.
And when the 6 months take us almost to the start of the year, like January time or something like that. I don't know, maybe I'm bringing too much into it.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite some negative reaction online to this because obviously, as you'd expect, and a lot of the focus there now is switching to Rodkin. Like people are saying, "Oh well, okay, cool, but you've still got John Rodkin in place." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, quite right.
I mean,
How can you say that's that's fair enough to say that, right? Because it's true. Why is he still there?
yeah, I agree. Rodkin becomes CEO and have a new football director. I could see something like that happening in Nil. I could see that, but
that may not actually be the worst thing, right? We have been saying for a while that you can keep Rodkin as part of the family, but we need to get someone better in who's got a better understanding of football.
Yeah. I think Rags is getting a little bit too optimistic here at the beginning
Rags
the
is the one that's having the beers.
Yeah. Does this mean a points deduction is a minute? Well, if you've been reading the articles today, it looks like it's going to be did it say a few weeks? I think.
Yeah, a bit of a drawn out process, it sounds like.
Yeah. There's been rumours she was looking to retire for a while now. This seems a strange time. As Anil said, though, it could be a case of a 6-month notice type thing for something like that, for a role like that. So it might not have been just, she decided last week she was leaving. Do you know what I mean? Not having a front of shirt sponsor, we'll see a drop off of around 20 million in revenue. If she was in charge of that, it's no wonder she's lost her job. But again, I would say to this, Anil, we had a sponsor lined up, right? And it was the fans that kicked off about that, and that's why they dropped it. So I don't know where you sit with that, Anil, because it's like
to be honest, Lux, I think the issue is though. I mean, look, firstly, we're doing a lot of speculating. We don't really know what goes on behind the scenes. But the other thing I would say is that at the end of the day, like, you don't know how these decisions are getting made or whatever like that. Like if you're my boss and you say, just get me the deal that's got the most amount of money. And then I come back to you and go, I've got the deal. Here you go. And then someone says, well, hang on a minute, but we can't have this deal because it's yada, yada, yada. But hang on a minute. You didn't tell me to get the most ethically upstanding deal. You told me to get a deal. I've got you a deal.
Yep.
What do you want? I can't do both. You told me to get the most ethically outstanding deal. Yeah, sure. I would have gone and asked Oxfam or whatever in terms of how to do it, which is a bit. I mean, to be honest, I mean, it will be someone like that. It would be good to get some journalism, because clearly, my suspicion, I think we all suspect this, is that once Vichai died, right, that was the person who was really good at pulling the strings, and then sort of people don't really talk to one another, or there's a power grab. I could grab this little piece now that Vichai's gone, and that could be my little empire, and people don't talk to one another, and you've moved away from having sort of unity to division. Hence, people not speaking to one another, and that's awful. Though I've got to say, the owner of the club's got to act way faster than that, right? Like it's a business. You got to be ruthless in that regard. And these people are extremely well compensated, right? I mean, if you're going to get paid 7 figures to leave the club, I mean, you could think of far worse things than that in my life, to be honest with you. Yeah,
I mean, I've just seen a tweet, so I want to get your thoughts on this. Somebody said, it's not a tweet, sorry, it's a message from somebody in our group chat. I've got a feeling this is the start of some bad news covered in a layer of thinly veiled good news. Something's afoot here, boys. I have no doubt Rodkin will be the next CEO after this cabinet reshuffle, given the fact that Con Top is now both chairman and CEO, and this fucker can't even run his own business properly and got ousted. Get ready for more shit. I mean, this is it though, Inel, isn't it? Because it's like, yeah, we've got this little statement from the club, but again, we're speculating. We are speculating, and this is what creates all this speculation and uncertainty, and us guessing that Rodkin's, but it's because we don't know Tosh, to be honest. Like all we've known is that Rodkin and Whelan have been fallen out for the last year, and now Whelan stepped down all of a sudden. You know what I mean? It's interesting.
I think, to be fair, I mean, it's still well worth discussing. I think you'll still see things as they come out later. So let's say that there is a huge points deduction or something like that. Then I think it will come more to the fact of like Whelan has probably left because she's seen which way the wind is blowing, and she thinks this organization is just completely beep. It's gone down the toilet. I don't want to be any part of it. It's changed. It's not going anywhere. It's heading south. I can get something else. I want to retire. It's time to go. That could be a case. Or if we see in the next couple of weeks King Power being quite proactive, a new CEO comes in, a new shirt deal is done, yada yada yada, then it might seem like, okay, Top really wasn't happy with the way the club was being run, and he felt like enough's enough. Loyalties divided. I've got to step. Someone's got to do something and step in and do this thing here. So I think we will get our answers as time kind of goes by. I think the problem is, Knox, it could go either of those two directions.
I agree.
Yeah, and yeah, we're saying that this whole thing with the Premier League, the EFL, and everything like that will answer a lot of questions, I think.
I wouldn't be the biggest fan of Rodkin as a CEO, but surely couldn't be worse than him as DOF. I mean, again, as you just said, Anil, like multiple times, we on this channel have said, don't even sack him, just move him out the way, get somebody, get an expert in, get a director of football who's done it at a high level before, who knows what he's doing, and John Rodkin doesn't seem to be that person. So just move him, and maybe this is one of the.
I can't see him being CEO though. You'd have to have like the chops to do it. Like if you think about King Power, they recently, or not recently, but in the summer, they did bring a new chief executive officer, didn't they? Right, and it was a Thai guy that had experience running businesses in Thailand. So I don't know, you could see someone like that. I mean, it can work or not work though, right? Man United brought in Omar Barada, who is the CEO of Man City. So you thought, oh, wow, that's a serious statement of intent. They got it all right at Man City. And they haven't got it right at Man United, have they, with him in charge? So you never know what's going to kind of happen. But I think they'll probably bring in someone. Well, I think they will bring in someone because, like I say, I think they'll be frustrated on a number of things, not just the deal. I think they'll also be, because what about like the council planning and things like this to get the new stadium? And it's not just a stadium, right? Like I think they see that they want to turn it into more of a fan zone type thing, right? To massively increase the commercial revenues, right? Because that's the way that all the clubs are going. I don't know if you've seen like the new Bernabeu that Real Madrid built, but they're making so much money off like concerts and Taylor Swift and stuff like this. Same as like the Spurs stadium. They've got NFL games there every week. They've got the boxing. They're making probably more money.
That was the plan, I think. They wanted they called it a multi-purpose entertainment venue outside the ground. So that would have been that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Let's go for some comments. I mean, some of these are interesting. That Steve's put her jumping now stops any backlash when we get to the deduction. Yeah, that could be the way to interpret it as well, is that she knows behind the scenes it's going to be god awful. She doesn't want to know to kind of go for it. But rats always leave a sinking ship. Possibly true. But as I say, I think it could be. We'll find out one way or the other if it's that is it her being quite professional. She wants to go because she can see where it's heading. Or is it actually that she's been a bit culpable for some of the problems? I think both is probably true.
I don't agree with this. Agree with this.
No.
This.
If you've been told by the person above that you do what you're told, right?
And it's quite obvious that we all know this, that the PSR problems have come from overspending on the football side. Spending beyond our means in with regards to the PSR rules and making poor poor footballing decisions when it comes to, Susan Whelan, yes, she negotiated, it came out, didn't it? She negotiated the Wesley Fofana deal and she negotiated the Harry Maguire deal. They're probably the two best deals in the club's history, right?
Yeah.
So maybe she did negotiate some of but all we know is that they're the two she negotiated. We don't know about the others. But we do know that John Rudkin has a large say in what players do come in and what players are given contracts and things like that. And so I don't blame, and that's where most of our problems have come from. So I don't blame Susan Whelan necessarily for PSR. We are a club that will never have the spending power of the bigger clubs because we don't have the revenues as big as them. So we're not allowed to spend as much as them. So from what we've heard from Tanner, what Tanner did say, and I think Percy has said it previously as well, was that prior to the last relegation, commercially, the club was thriving. Commercially, it was doing very well. But that didn't, we weren't able to actually spend much money because of how poor the decisions were in the footballing side. So Kiernan said here, if Rudkin was a major reason she stepped down, it just sums up how shit that man is at his job. It's a shame we lost someone like her, and even worse if Rudkin was a reason. Daedalus says Whelan was never the problem. She had no say in how the club was run, and Rudkin and Top called the shots. I'm surprised she stayed this long. Again, speculation. Yeah, Luke. Yeah, the link's in the WhatsApp chat. Ragsy said she's been forced out by Top. I a twat. Sorry. She's alluded to the fact that the club's in decline and yet still stuck around for the ride. Without a points deduction is going to make her want to leave on her wages. Yeah, I don't necessarily think. I suppose, Anil, I don't think she's leaving because the club is sinking, right? I think it's probably more the case that she maybe just isn't happy in the job because she doesn't get on with Rudkin. We speculate that Top probably favours him, Rudkin, right? So, again, it's all speculation, but I don't think it doesn't seem to me like a rat jumping a ship. I don't think it seems that way to me. I just feel like maybe it's just a mutual agreement that
I think she's been forced out because,
to be
fair, she's been professional. There's no statement or anything, or no war of words that we've seen right now. Go on, let's get this man's reaction to things.
Oh, he looks like he's in a sauna.
Fresh out of boxing for the news. Spill it to me, brother. What's happening?
Susan Whelan has stepped down from her role at Leicester City. Rudkin's still here. There's no news on Rudkin, just Whelan.
The man's got 9 lives, fellas. He's bulletproof. As Anil said, the bad guys have won. I don't know how to feel about this. Has she stepped down because everyone else is retards, or has she been sacked? It's important to know one of the two, which one it is.
Well, Rob Dorset from Sky has used the words "she stepped down," and the club's words were Susan Whelan. Oh no, the club say the same. Susan Whelan has stepped down as CEO. So she stepped down. That's what the words are from the club.
That sounds like she was too smart for the club. That's very alarming. She's abandoned a sinking ship early.
Maybe she's been forced out, Luke.
I'm not sure which narrative to go down right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's been hotboxing his car.
That's why he's so happy.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me bring this comment up here, which I saw. She did her job in growing the club and its revenue in her time. I don't think she gets the blame for overspending on wages. This is it, Luke, isn't it? What me and Anil were just saying, that she's not the one giving out contracts and spending money on players. That's Rudkin.
Because the club is not transparent on who actually does what and who is responsible for what, we're forced to assume and jump to conclusions. And that's the biggest problem is we don't know what to think. It's the same thing that we're talking about right now. I don't even know if it's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah, that is the problem. Anil, to be fair, wasn't there rumbling she was going for a while? So the thing from Tom Colomos or Percy, one of the two, I think it was back at the end of the season, was that there was she was going to step back. I think that was the wording that John Percy used. I think he said step back. But now it's just step down. She's gone. Could you see her showing up at another club, another football club?
Big time. But do you know what? Not even joking. I thought after the Maguire deal that Man United might even think, Jesus, maybe we should take this woman because she's absolutely fleeced us. She must be great at her job. And we need someone like this. And, also in sports as well, it's quite fashionable to have, a woman, especially as CEO, is a massive statement. It's a very good PR move as well. She's got the proven chops in terms of being, not saying that's the only reason. Of course not. She's proven to be good at her job. So I think she could easily get one. And that'll be interesting to see as well. If she does take on another role somewhere else, that I think also leads into what it could well be. But yeah, a lot of people here, I'm reading Fox's talk as well. Boardroom battle has been won. Definitely agree with that. Like I say, though, I've definitely read on Fox's talk over the years that there has been, especially around the planning permissions and stuff like that. Lux, you said your statement as well that after we got relegated, Susan Whelan was proud that no board member lost their. Do you remember that? You can maybe bring up that quote, but it's not all.
Yeah,
I don't want to take this in a certain direction. I think there's a reason the club's doing badly, and I think it's more than one person. I'm certainly not blaming it all on her. I think there's people that are way more culpable, but I don't think she's exactly covered herself in glory either in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think the rumor, and it was rumor, there was no journalists, reputable people who said this, but the rumor was that during a board meeting or during a shareholders meeting or something after the first relegation, Whelan said she was proud that they hadn't had to have got rid of any board members or things like that. Luke, oh wait, one sec. Frankie, to be fair, the Sun reported time is running. Yeah. And it's funny how the club credited her with the expansion project. Well, where is it?
But that's the thing, Lux. That could be the thing, right? So my understanding, what I've seen on Fox's talk, is that she's been like I've heard even people who are doing the construction and stuff like that are fed up with the way that she's been acting, and she's been doing stuff and making it very difficult. And that's the thing. When were those plans announced? I think those plans were announced when we were in Europe still, or something like that. It was
it was like 2020. It was 2021 or 2022, I think. Yeah.
And as far as I know, the club's never said that I mean, we all assume that the club isn't going to go ahead with that because of the double relegation. But what if that's not the case? What if the case is they still want to proceed with making it and the money's all allocated and they're getting frustrated and they're thinking, where are these ground development plans? You can't get planning permission. We're waiting. We're falling behind all the other clubs. You can't get a shirt sponsor. It could be some of these things. I'm not going to, like I said, I don't want to play the blame game, but I'm saying I can see why she might have been forced out.
Luke, let me ask you about this, mate, because I mean, Ben Hall said here, she's missed King Power, so might just not want the hassle anymore. She's worked for Vishai and King Power for a long time, way before Leicester City. So what does that say to you, that she's, a long servant to them guys, and she's still just said, nah? Well, it seems she said, nah, I don't want it anymore.
I'm not sure. The way that Neil just spun it, it's like time to get the pitchforks back out. But then to hate her again, but then that when you paint it like that, maybe, once upon a time that she served a purpose and she was with us when we were at our highest, and same as Rodkin at certain elements as well. But at the same time, maybe, the way things are, maybe she's dated and, the game's passed her by. I'm not entirely sure, Lux, but I would like to think that she's probably stepped down from what Neil said, so the club's taken action and been proactive and getting rid of some more deadwood.
Yeah. I've just seen a meme of Whelan's gone. Whelan's gone. Rodkin, you're next. The teat is drying up. No money left. That could well be the case. Shami, did she leave by choice or did she get sacked? All we know is that she stepped down. That's what's been said, Shami, mate. So, Luke, I know you got to jump, mate. Cheers, pal. Cheers for joining us, mate. Revenue losses from COVID, I thought, was the cause of cancellations on the state. Yeah, well, no, I think it was a mixture, a combination of many different things. So, obviously, loss of revenue was one of the reasons. A relegation, so demand for tickets, because obviously when the plans were first put in place, we were a European team. Demand is obviously lower when you're a championship team, so sometimes they're not sold out now, right? The KP, so how are they going? They're going to start 40k. No.
Look at it against Wrexham, so many empty seats. It's quite scandalous, to be honest.
Yeah, she's 62. She probably wants more of a chilled life. Roadhammer says leaving to start a family. Yeah, I think she's already got a family there. Would be great if the board communicated with the fans. Yeah, well, this is as much communication we're going to get now. Susan Whelan has stepped down. Thank you for her efforts.
Well, yeah, because Topper CEO is not going to oversee that. Although you never know if they were. I would say this though, Locks, right? If dream scenario, they did actually bring in a properly good CEO and they recognize they need to way modernize it, you could start seeing sweeping changes. Because in our club, the thing is that the CEO is always a joke anyway, right? Because the actual CEO is top. He's the one that makes all the decisions. So you could actually argue with this news and him taking over as interim CEO, it's like what's actually changed other than one person left, and he's probably doing all that work anyway. But you never know. If we were a serious club, they would start bringing in people and recognizing that, look, King Power have been in charge now, over 10 years. there's obviously been a massive problem since Vichai's left. So now we need to start getting some people in and being serious, because all the top clubs in the country, they've got top people there. And that's what sets you up for success long term, right? It's how we're getting overtaken. So let's see if any of that does happen. Of course, we're all terrified because we think it's the opposite. Just think this has been a boardroom war. What we will say is that I know that Vichai was the one that, like, Kun Vichai was the one that appointed Susan Whelan. She was working for King Power. He recognized how good she was, and he said, I want you to look after the football club as well. And then obviously she's done a great job. But when your number one supporters moved away.
Yeah, exactly. And also you've got to think as well, like, Whelan was probably, well, we know she was super close to Vichai. I'm sure she was close to Top, probably not as close. I mean, Top, it has seemed for the last 3 years, like, it just seems Top and Rudkin are the very, very close.
Yeah.
Whelan just maybe is the third wheel in that relationship, where Rodkin was probably the third wheel to the Whelan and Vichai. You know what I mean? So was she pushed? I think this is probably what's happened. I think she was pushed. That's what my guess would be.
The fear has got to be, though, Locks, is just to call out in recent days, right, is that 2 managerial appointments in recent history. Enzo Maresca, it was known that Susan Whelan was a big push for that. In fact, there were even rumors that John Rudkin didn't even interview the manager until he was in place, right? The next appointment we made was Steve Cooper. That was a John Rudkin appointment. We were even led to believe that Top didn't agree with it, but John Rudkin made the call anyway, right?
Yeah.
And Top's come in and made Van Nistelrooy. Now they've got Famasi Cifuentes. So you just look at that alone, and the thing is, like I say, I mean, people could be upset or whatever, but it did seem that just in terms of knowing her chops, you've also mentioned the great dealing that she did in the past. I would say there's more good than bad. I do also remember you told me a quote once that said that after we got relegated the first time, she came out and she said, well, we're going to have to massively change our plans at the club now because this is going to affect us for multiple years.
Yeah,
she said something like that, and so it's shown you, and that's why we haven't been able to spend this time. Is that she knew looking at the finances, that's a catastrophic loss of revenue, and one which will take a very long time to recover from, and we haven't recovered from it now. So,
just whilst we're here, before we finish, let's just very quickly touch on some of the quotes that came out today from Percy. So the first thing, talking of high earners and stuff like that. So in previous legal cases, I'll start with this one. Leicester have enlisted renowned sports lawyer Nick DeMarco as his team at Blackstone Chambers. It's unclear whether DeMarco will represent the club again. Leicester have said they intend to engage cooperatively. The PSR hearing will go before an independent commission, and if the club is found guilty, they could face a variety of other sanctions, including a transfer ban or fine. So that would be disastrous, wouldn't it, Anil, if we get a points deduction and a transfer ban?
Yes and no, because the thing is I think what we've seen so far is that, although someone did say a 10-point deduction puts us bottom of the table, but I think Imran just said it in the BTG chat this morning. I think just the season's going to be a write-off if that's the case. As long as we can recover in the summer, it depends on how they do it. If they ban us from signing players in the summer, we're in massive trouble, though, because half the team.
Well, imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine it's like Wednesday, get like a 3-window ban.
Yeah.
I mean, if that was to happen, we're fucked.
Oh, absolutely, because you've got like 5 or 6 players out of contracts in the summer, and you won't be able to bring people in, and all the talent will want to leave. Yeah, that would be catastrophic. Yeah. Back to League One.
Yeah, I've just seen this as well, by the way. Another thing here, mate, is just again on PSR, the problems can be arguably traced back to the 21-22 season. The summer they spent 50 million on Patson Daka, Yannick Vestergaard and Bouba Samare, and crucially made the decision not to sell any first-team players. Rodgers refused to sell any coveted players he wanted the club to build. Relegation was a significant financial blow, coming shortly after recorded losses of £92.5 million were announced. Whelan had warned that the consequences will be felt for some time. So that's what Susan Whelan said.
That was the quote, yeah.
There was another thing as well here. High earners, the highest earner, because obviously Vardy left, the highest earner, Wilfred Ndidi, moved to Besiktas for 8 million. while they moved Conor Cody's 70 grand a week off the books with the former England international Jordan Wrexham. The club raised 40 million in transfer sales this summer. You mentioned the manager, Anil. So during his presentation with Chairman Kuntop and John Rudkin, he also impressed by outlining how he would. This is Marty, how he would unify the club following their nightmare Premier League season. He's described as an on-the-grass coach who is hands-on with training sessions and has displayed a no-nonsense approach. Before the Sheffield Wednesday game, one player told Marty he didn't want to be picked and that he wanted to leave. Marty told him he has to be involved and considered the matter over. The player then played. Steve Elm, everybody will know, he's said, he's got some sources, he said it's been confirmed to him it was definitely Bilal. That's not a surprise though, Nil.
That stinker against Preston was he just didn't want to be there. Very unprofessional.
Although he did get the 2 assists in that game that Martin made him play. He did get 2 assists in that game.
One it worked. So maybe he was like, okay, I'll play one game, but that's all I want. But, it's not the club's fault that the deal didn't come through. Eventually he got it. Tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah. The closure of the window was a relief and has led to a shift in attitude within the dressing room. Training sessions have been sharp and enjoyable for most of the players.
Shame it doesn't work that way on the pitch, though, eh? But...
Yeah, literally. And then I'm just trying to see if there is anything, if there's any quotes yet, because Tanner's apparently done an article. However, I think it's behind a paywall, The Athletic, so I might not be able to get that up. So
let me send you something in the chat. We should be able to look at it. You can use this in use that, mate, or you can send me the link up. We'll be able to help you out.
I'll do that now. So it's oh no, I can't do it in Turkey, unfortunately. I'll send you the link though to the article if that's okay. Where's Tanner? There he is. By the way, I saw some people asking about Tanner the other day in the chat. It's just the Athletic. The Athletic have just stopped the funding, I think, for Leicester. So that's why Tanner's gone quiet. There we go. I've sent you the link to the article now. So if you could pop that in the thing in the WhatsApp. Yeah, it's already in there. Sorry, Neil, I've got it, mate. My bad. Actually, no, I don't think I can. Yeah, I don't think I can. I'm not a robot. Here we go. I've got it. Right, let me share my screen.
Okay. Thank you so much, Frankie.
Appreciate it, mate. Here we go. So this is Tanner's article. Whelan steps down as Leicester CEO after 15 years. Try not to repeat some things we've already said. Top will take the CEO role temporarily. The decision for Whelan to leave was mutual between the 62-year-old and the club. Whelan was an influential figure under Vishai, but in recent years she has been less involved in the football side of the club while overseeing the business affairs. Leicester, that's fine. So in recent years, Leicester faced difficulties with meeting profit and sustainability rules as they chased continued success. A section of the supporters have been calling... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a section of supporters have been calling for more managerial changes at the club. Sources have told The Athletic there are no more plans for further changes to the leadership structure at the club, leaving Kuntop to work with Director of Football John Rudkin. So there we go. There's that little bit. There's a little nugget in there from Tanner. Yeah. So sources have told The Athletic there are no more plans for further changes. And to be fair, this is what Tanner and many others were saying at the start of the summer or at the end of last season. I don't expect any changes at the top with regards to John Rudkin. And now we know it. So, Anil, mate, that's frustrating, right? Because, I mean, it's not a surprise, Anil. It's not a surprise that Rudkin's going to stay. Because as Luke just said when he came on, he's got 9 lives. He's bulletproof.
Yeah, but Buzz has just put it there. I think we're in the mud for many more years, and I'm not optimistic. I would echo that sentiment because I think the problem is that how can I describe this? It might be a little bit like, your dad telling you off, but your dad's actually looking out for you. So, well, Susan Wheeler's like the mother figure sort of thing, right? She's making sure that 2 boys don't keep doing naughty things that are going to cause havoc later down the line. And now that you haven't got that safety net, what kind of madness are they going to do? I suppose it all depends on how big the King Power fortune is. I mean, we don't know. It's not a publicly listed company. I mean, if you're going to still keep pumping in the money in, because you know what? I mean, a CEO that I think is absolutely mental and wouldn't want him anywhere near a club, but has dramatically improved the fortunes of said club is Marinakis at Forest, right? And that's the thing, is maybe Top is getting frustrated and he just wants to be hands-on now. He's given King Power over to someone else. So this is the baby that he really wanted to do with. And you might see a lot of movement and being more aggressive moves. Some might work, some might not. But as you've all said, I think the big worry is with the director of football is how we're going to do it. I mean, that said, in the summer, I don't think it's the worst. We could have got it much worse. I think we brought in some okay players. We'll, got rid of a lot of chaff. We didn't do anything stupid like sign, a 33-year-old on massive wages that we know of. Maybe we tried it. We'll see. But
Brownhill, tried Brownhill, 30-year-old, big wages.
Well, it didn't come through, so I don't know. At the end of the day, you can only judge what we see on the pitch. But how are you feeling about it? Do you feel like it's indifferent, a bit nervous? What do you think?
Well, the last thing I just read from Tanner's article there, I mean, there's another bit that says Top will take a more hands-on role in the running of the club. That's, to me, not really a positive, if I'm completely honest. And you've not even got something from him here, right? Like, you've not got, lay it out to us, Top. Lay out what's the plan here. Like, what is the plan? Your CEO of 15 years is gone. She's not the one that everybody wanted gone. You've still got the guy there who we wanted gone. You're becoming the guy who everybody wants gone. And that's it. You just drop us this and hope we move on and just wait. It's bullshit. So I don't think there's too much positivity with this announcement at all. Like, it's just a nothing thing, I think. I don't know. The majority of the problems are the footballing operations, and there's been no change to that leadership. So I don't think we can really expect too much change. I mean, we just gave Luke Thomas a 4-year contract, Anil. We just gave Luke Thomas.
Oh, God, yeah, you're right. That was me defending the DOF, and that just says it all, Can you imagine if that's what made Whelan stand down? Just like, that's where I draw the line. Given Luke Thomas the contract, I'm out.
Yeah. Right, last few comments before we end. I think so that's the one Buzz said. I think we're in the mud for many more years. This kind of proves Whelan didn't want to work with these two donkeys, and we will suffer until at least Rudkin goes, if not Top as well. This is why I don't go to home games anymore. The last piece has hit home, and we will continue to decline as a result. There is no plan, says Caleb.
That's why I don't go to games so much this often. And I can say I don't even buy the shirts these days. Because I refuse to, unless I see, in my opinion, positive change at the club, and this is not it. Obviously we'll always support the boys, but the people running it, no plan.
No, I agree. Sell up Top, get a rich Harabin. Yeah. I was trying to find some Turkish.
There's a lot of money in Turkey these days. A lot of money.
I'll try and find some more.
Get Elm's comment up. He knows. He's the man in the know. Yeah.
Yeah, so there has been frustration behind the scenes in regards to the shirt sponsor, leading to more attention between her and Top. That's
what I suspected. That is a massive. You cannot afford to drop, say a potential 20 million a year thing when you're under PSR trouble. That's a massive fuck up. Sorry, pardon my language.
No, you're right. I mean, King Power is now being run by Nitinai. And Top has been pushed aside at King Power. He now has more time on his hands. Marty Probs asked for the new deal for Thomas. I doubt it, Scott. I think maybe he's probably been consulted on it. Like, he's probably been asked, what do you think? And, maybe, obviously he said yes to that, but it shouldn't be his decision. A deal like that should be made by the people above, and it doesn't look like it has. So, Frankie,
to be fair to Marty, I don't think he's either said one way or the other. He just said congratulations to the player. He didn't really Yeah.
I heard rumours Elm is Whelan's neighbour.
I've heard the rumour that Elm is going to be the new CEO.
Well, why not?
Yeah.
Didn't we have talks with George Frank? No. That was I think he was just learning, so I don't know. Final comment is going to go to two final comments. Frankie says pushed it to the club. Rudders agreed, and then MC agreed with it. And then Keith says we're in real trouble, lads. So I think I probably agree with that. Well, let's see if we're in trouble on the pitch. We go again on Saturday afternoon, 3:00 kickoff. Leicester versus Swansea or Swansea versus Leicester. Go on, Anil. Give me a score prediction for it, mate. Why not? Let's do it. Let's do the score prediction.
I've got to go for 5 draws in a row.
Wow, that's not great, is it?
The only thing I'll say is that Aaron Ramsey is back, and that's who we need. Just before that match starts, I'll do another little mini bit of analysis. But I mean, the thing is, Locks, is that our XG this season is like 1 goal a game. It's like we've been starved to these goals for such a long time. And actually, do you know what our expected goals against is? It's like 11. And we've only conceded 8. So we're actually getting away with it. So Coventry right now, if you look at the underlying data, they are the best performing team in the league. And that's why they're rising higher and higher and higher. Right. So unless there's something majorly done, I think it's hard to sort of say. The one thing I'll say is we do have individual quality. Maybe someone can step up. But I think if you're trying to be, objective and just use the data out there, it doesn't say Leicester win to me.
Yeah, well, fuck. If that happens, I'm going to say...
fuck the data, exactly.
Fuck the data, 3-1 Leicester. There we go, I'll say 3-1 Leicester. And that is just because I've had a beer. Right. I'll just bring a couple up. Keith 2-1 Swansea, Stompy 0-0, and Ryan says 2-1 Swansea. All the negativity is back. Love it. Right, we will see you. We should have a match preview at some point tomorrow, and then we'll see Saturday for the watch along. We'll start nice and early at 2:30. I think we said 2:30 for a bit of analysis, and then into the match. Cheers all, cheers Anil. See you all soon. I'm going to go back to sunbathing and drinking a cocktail. Take care. Bye bye.
Massive thank you to today's sponsor, Match Bingo. Over 200 grand has been paid out to players so far by taking sports betting, football and bingo and combining them into one amazing app. Make sure to get your bingo card for any Leicester City game in the upcoming season. Click that link in the description or via the QR code on screen.